I hope that everyone finally got to enjoy their entire, very delicious beef tenderloin, very special beef. And I want you all to know that Bobby Kennedy, who's right here, personally ran over the cow in his car. And he cut it up and he brought it here for you to eat tonight. So it's very fresh. And Bobby also suggested an appetizer featuring his favorite cut of male raccoon roadkill. I've been informed by CBS News' David Ellison, who's going to do a fantastic job. He's the owner. He bought it, spent a lot of money, and he's going to make, I think, fantastic changes and keep some of the great stuff going. But then next year, they're going to call it the Trump White House Correspondents Dinner. He told me that, and I like that very much. We're going to change the name of it, okay? Oh, it's going to be so hot, just like our country is hot. We are hot, by the way.
What you just heard were some excerpts of maybe the worst speech in U.S. history, which Donald Trump gave over the weekend at the White House Correspondents' makeup dinner. In today's other top stories, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is visiting the White House this week with quite a few cards.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Right. Donald Trump is trying to name another historic building after himself. 19 million eggs have been recalled. Democrats have made major changes to their primary calendar, and some people aren't so happy about it. We also have major Iran war updates, and the Trump administration acting like a vindictive ex and withholding $7.5 billion from blue states. Because they're blue states. We have these stories and more to get into. I'm Sammy Sage, and this is the Morning Announcements, your 10-minute rundown of current events and the best way to always know what the going on. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story and get every episode right when it comes out. The rescheduled White House Correspondents' Dinner took place over the weekend, and here's what you missed.
After hearing the gunshots, many people yelled, "Get down, get down," which caused Nicki Minaj to start twerking. Do you believe it? I want to personally congratulate CNN's Caitlin Collins on receiving her award. It was all about me. It's a fake. She shouldn't get the award. It was a fake, but I didn't mind. I said, "Caitlin, congratulations." But it was fake. There's no question about it. But she's a young, attractive woman. She never smiles. I said, "Caitlin, do you have a smile?" Smile. You have a nice position. You're at CNN Fake News. You should be a happy person. So smile, Caitlin. Just smile. But we attack, and I thought Caitlin had really made it big with a major new sponsorship, but then I informed her that it wasn't her on the Bud Light can, it was Dylan Mulvaney. And Dylan Mulvaney cost Bud Light $35 billion in market cap. That was the worst commercial ever made, by the way, for those few people that want to hear that. Texas, the Democrats are running a candidate named James Telefrico, who hates guns, hates oil, hates sex, hates women.
Couldn't convince anyone to give him a stand-up special, so this must be the next best thing. But my personal favorite moment was Wolf Blitzer presenting the Wall Street Journal with an award for uncovering Donald Trump's ties to Jeffrey Epstein while he was sitting right there.
Journal's courageous reporting on President Trump's past relationship with financier Jeffrey Epstein triggered the release of the so-called Epstein files. Trump quickly filed a $20 billion lawsuit against the Journal, revealing reporter Khadija Safdar's home address. Her family had to be relocated. The Journal was kicked off of Air Force One, but the reporters continued to file revelatory stories.
We also had this incredible award-winning photo. It seems like Donald Trump has decided that he's not done slapping his name on famous buildings after courts struck down him slapping his name on the Kennedy Center. We know this because Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy wrote a whole bunch of letters last week to various Senate committees where he explained that he is, quote, directing Amtrak to rename New York Penn Station without specifying to what it would be renamed. But I think we all know, given that Sean Duffy said last year that, quote, Trump's station has a nice ring to it. And also, Gothamists obtained the renderings, which included a presidential seal with Trump's name on it. But can he make the trains run on time? In case the last two stories were not sufficiently transparent displays of incompetent authoritarianism, this next one should be. The Trump administration admitted that it canceled $7.5 billion worth of funding for energy projects that was supposed to go to certain states, specifically because those states voted for Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. and had 2 Democratic senators. Their admission showed up in court documents after the administration was sued by researchers in California whose funding was canceled. And an Energy Department attorney said in a filing that, quote, with only one exception, none of the canceled grants were, quote, based on any programmatic statutory cost reduction or performance-based factor, i.e. no legitimate reason, but that those grants had a recipient location or at least one place of performance in a state that awarded its electoral votes to Kamala Harris in 2024 and his 2 Democratic caucusing senators. Absolutely none of this is shocking given how Trump has excelled in living out the old adage, for my friends everything, for my enemies the law. But his enemies seem to include the Americans who didn't vote for him. And this isn't even the first time the Energy Department admitted to doing this, but we only have so much time in an episode. In the most ironic news story of both Trump administration, 19 million eggs have been recalled due to salmonella. You know, the same eggs that Trump famously campaigned on being too expensive? Congratulations. Your lettuce, beef, and now eggs are all diseased. Almost 100 people across 17 states have contracted salmonella poisoning over the past 9 months, and 26 of them have been hospitalized. So where are these rotten eggs, you must be wondering? Samples that tested positive for salmonella came from the distributor Midwest Poultry Services. Those eggs were shipped to Kroger's, Brookshire's, and smaller stores across 6 states: Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mississippi. The thing is, that doesn't actually cover the whole outbreak. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the latest foodborne illness updates. U.S. strikes on Iran were put on pause for 2 whole days this weekend because Donald Trump reportedly wants the ongoing negotiations to, quote, get some space. You just said that you were considering an attack bigger than ever before. Of course, according to Trump's ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, he says he's keeping all options on the table and that Iran should take the president very seriously. The U.S. military is locked and loaded. What happened to taking some space? Meanwhile, the Pentagon is openly fudging the death toll, and now the 4 Americans who were killed in the past few weeks and whose dignified transfers Donald Trump attended personally no longer appear in the Pentagon's official casualty count from the Iran war, because those deaths came after they declared the fake ceasefire, so now they're counted in a separate category. There were also way more casualties than were originally reported. We just learned last week that there had been at least 100 casualties, i.e. service members who were injured, but now that number is somewhere in the 400s. I'm sorry I can't be more specific than that, but they're also playing reindeer games with the number of injured troops. The casualty count on the Pentagon website was originally 482 people, but was later reduced to 420. Leave it to the Trump administration to play this like they're minimizing their taxable income. Since it's Monday, here's what to watch for this week. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is visiting Donald at the White House on Tuesday, which could go in a lot of different directions, especially because Trump reposted a preview that Laura Loomer shared of an exclusive interview she did with Zelensky that's going to come out soon. And I look forward to finding out what financial transactions have facilitated this very strange 180-degree flip on the Ukraine war. The U.S. and the U.K. are planning to meet in London to try to cobble together some countries to help out with the Strait of Hormuz issues, because the war Donald started without anyone's consent is getting very expensive, and all the signs are pointing to Iran not giving up the strait anytime soon. At least not without charging tolls. And we have Psycho CEO Sam Altman heading to D.C., where he'll preview OpenAI's new model and push for it to get approved by the government, despite the fact that it went rogue and attacked another company just the other day. Spooky. The Democratic Party has announced its presidential primary calendar for 2028, and it has some people very mad. South Carolina will hold the first primary on January 22nd, 2028, followed by Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico, Michigan, and Virginia on the subsequent Tuesdays in February. Then Super Tuesday will be held in early March. The complaints with the new schedule are coming mainly from the most leftward wing of the party, as they object to the prioritization of the South and see it as a move designed to stop a progressive presidential candidate. Still holding the 2016 grudges, really.